Hey everybody, welcome to the Big Huntsville Podcast, the show that's all about the people, places, and the stories that make this city an amazing place. I'm your host, Carl Thomas, your favorite realtor, singer-songwriter, and all-around Huntsville cheerleader. Each week, we'll be shining a light on the community heroes who make this city tick, having some fun along the way, and sharing a few real estate tips when you least expect it. So whether you've lived in Huntsville your whole life, or you're just thinking about calling Huntsville your new home, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Welcome back to Big Huntsville Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have somebody super special on here. This is a guy I met years ago. He is making huge impacts in the east side of Huntsville, 5 Points, downtown. They're doing a lot. His name is Tim Milner. He's the pastor of Essential Church. And you've probably seen the Essential Church signs on the exits of the parkway going towards 5 Points. That is them. Very unique place, very unique guy. Tim, welcome. Thank you for being here, man.
Man, so glad to be here, man. Thank you for letting me be part of this.
All right. You never told me what that light is up in the corner.
Dude, that's my one decoration.
Oh, it's pretty. It's nice. It looks like you might be growing pot up there.
Listen, man, cut that out, man. That's my secret.
Well, man, okay. So just to get started, just so that people understand what you do for a living, you're a pastor, right? So that's that like a full-time thing for you?
Yeah, full-time pastor. About 9 years ago, my wife and I, we moved back to Huntsville to start this church, and I've been full-time here since.
Okay. So when you moved back here, you weren't on staff anywhere. You just decided to start a church from the ground up.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I don't know how crazy it sounds, but prior to that, we just sensed that God was leading us to try to start a church, really reaching people who were like falling through the cracks of other churches, like people who just didn't feel like church was for them. Like those are the people I love the most.
Yeah. I think that's what your billboard says. What does it say?
Yeah, we got a few different ones, man. Like we got 2 billboards. One says like a church for people who feel like church is not for them.
Yeah.
And then the other one I think says for anyone hurting.
Okay. Hey, both are good. Both are good.
Yeah.
I hurt because it's not for me. So that's perfect. I got you. Okay. So I guess because we've started out talking about what you do for a living, of course you're a man of faith, right? So this is just me being curious. So out of all the religions there are available in the world, so many, why would you say Christianity is kind of the one that's correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm glad we're getting started with some light conversation here. Hey, there's like, Carl, I think there's like several ways I would like to address that. I mean, and just for starters, probably the biggest one, I don't know, maybe these reasons won't be in order, but like, I think number one, I think anybody who's curious or interested or searching on like, hey, what is the truth? Like, why are we here? Where do we come from? Is there a God? Man, I think the number one place to start that conversation is with the resurrection of Jesus. Like the claim is like, that's a historical event. And there were a ton of eyewitnesses who have written about it, and all of them like paid with their lives saying that this is true. And so I think anybody trying to study religion should first see if you cannot disprove the resurrection.
Oh, wow.
Because I mean, if the resurrection happened, I mean, then the rest of the conversation is a lot easier. And if it didn't happen, the rest of the conversation is a lot easier.
Sure.
And so for me, like part of my journey is like, man, just like, okay, doing my own homework, trying to think clearly on this, trying to be objective, trying to be intellectually honest. And at the end of the day, just follow the evidence. And I believe the evidence points to like, no, like there was a Jesus. He did die on a cross. And on the third day, he came back to life, just like he said he was. Man, wow. Okay. On top of that, man, I would just say like, there's a story where this guy, like born blind, was healed by Jesus. And like the religious leaders who hated Jesus called the guy in, and they're like, man, tell us what happened. And the guy was like, man, I don't know what to say other than I was blind, but now I see. And like, I think to myself, like, man, that's a powerful testimony. This is a guy who had no education. This is a guy who didn't know anything about world religions. All he had was his own story. Like he was sick, but now he's better.
Yeah.
And dude, that's my story too, man. dude, life is difficult, life is challenging. I get that, but Carl, I can tell you, man, all is well with my soul. Man, I
Oh,
got
wow.
peace, I got joy, I got hope, and dude, it all comes from Jesus.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, man, somebody out there trying to explore, like, man, God, no God, that sort of thing, man, those are the two places I would start. Like, dude, like the historical evidence for the resurrection, but then also just my own testimony of, dude, I was blind, but now I see.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a thing I think it's built in that we have to, we can't, it's just, there's too many circumstances that make us go, these things, just the way the body works, just the way your heart pumps, just the way each limb that you have has a specific purpose and they all work together. There's a lot of things like that make you, as a human, wonder, well, what am I here for? How did I get here? How did all this happen? So I can see how somebody would land with Jesus, I guess. No, not my mic over. I'm getting so into this.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it's like Romans chapter 1 in the Bible. I mean, it even talks about how it's like, dude, I mean, just from all creation, we see God's invisible qualities,
Yeah.
and listen, man, I mean, I can argue all the arguments and counter arguments, I can argue both sides and all these things, but man, I think, if somebody wanted to go down this evidence for intelligent design, there's a lot to talk about there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for instance, and being here in Huntsville, man, this is such a, this is a rocket city. So there's people listening to this who are like way more knowledgeable than I am.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to say like 200 years ago, there was like two variables that we believed were needed for a planet to sustain life. Fast forward to present day, now we know there's like hundreds of variables that all must be in place for a planet to sustain life.
Yeah. Like the latest
And
iPhone. I get it, man. I get it.
yeah,
Gotta
yeah,
have it.
it's
Yeah.
like, dude, just some. I mean, again, not to ruffle feathers, but this idea that we came from deformed crystals or some alien species planted us here. It's like, man, I don't know, man. I don't think that's what the evidence actually points to.
Right. Right. Well, and you say that evidence. I heard somewhere one time that there has never been any science to disprove the Bible. Which I guess there's a lot of people on both sides of that. That a lot of times when you get, like a scientist who goes to school for that, and they get very, very educated. I'm sure they're probably not being given both, options of what to believe, but a lot of times, I guess it's just really easy to go, well, this is just a book that men wrote. When you think about the Bible, I guess I'm guilty of that sometimes. I think everybody kind of gets in that place, no matter what they believe, of going, what am I? Is this all this real? And I'll tell you, Tim, I guess the way that one of those things that's like a comfort to me is when I look at somebody whose life has been changed.
Yeah.
And I look at somebody who is a completely different person, and there are just so many of those stories. I just don't know, if I could not believe after being around those people.
I mean, that kind of goes back to, it's like, hey, I was blind, but now I see,
Yeah.
I don't mean that like in like kind of a truther, like, all the sheeple out there who are blind. No, I don't mean that. I mean, I'm talking about like, man, the hope, the joy, the peace. And I tell people, like, ever since I went all in Jesus, man, I am a better husband to my wife. I'm a better father to my kids. I'm a better pastor to the people at the church. I'm a better friend to my friends
Yeah.
because of what Jesus did for me.
Right.
And if there's any skeptic out there, man, and they had a challenge, they're having a hard time, like, man, I'm a person of science. I'm not a person of faith. Man, I think a great resource out there is some of the work by Francis Collins.
Okay.
Francis Collins is he was the director of the Human Genome Project. He's one of the greatest scientists of our day, and he's also an outspoken Christian. And he has a book called The Language of God. And so which is human DNA is kind of, is tied back to that. So again, this is a man who's a renowned scientist, but is in love with Jesus as well. So
Sure.
again, just a good resource for anybody to check out if you're trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah, yeah. There's also a lot of archaeology out there that discovers things that are biblical, because that's one thing. So my last name is Thomas. So of course I'm a doubter, man.
sometimes need stuff like that. And, every once in a while I'll get online and just look stuff up and see what I can find. And it is crazy what is being found in Jerusalem, around Israel, around that area over there that, once again, none of it disproves. All of it gives, substantiation to the stories of the Bible, the books of the Bible, the things that are said in there. A lot of it has actually been not only proven, but backed up by all of those things. It's pretty amazing. It really
That's
is.
exactly right. It's
Yeah.
exactly right. And it's, this is not conspiracy theory stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I too do not like conspiracy theories, man. No, I want to be honest. I want to really see what is the evidence and data point to, and then let's follow where that's pointing us.
Sure.
And so, yeah, the archaeology is actually really incredible. I don't want to bore anybody, but archaeology confirms over and over and over again the biblical story.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, all right. So we jumped in real deep right off the bat there, buddy. The reason you're actually on the show is because in the recent years, I've driven through 5 Points, and there was an old church building that was there that I noticed a group of people renovating, and it was essential. And apparently you guys had started out maybe at like a more temporary campus, and you ended up in an older church building. Well, that part of 5 Points just looks amazingly different now. Like I was born in Huntsville, so been through there. My parents met on McCullough in 5 Points at an old motorcycle club. They were hippies. So I've got a lot of history in 5 Points. So I really appreciate the looks of that, what you guys have done with the building, the parking, all of that looks amazing. So tell me about that process. How did you end up in 5 Points, and I guess the renovations of the church, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So, oh man, I love this story. So I too am from Huntsville. Actually, the house we lived in when I was born was on Giles, which is not horribly far from where we are now.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, we moved to South Huntsville. I was a Farley Falcon.
Oh,
What's up,
wow.
Falcons out there? So, anyways, born and raised here as well. Moved back to Huntsville, I guess coming up on about 10 years ago, and to start this church, to start a central church. And we started in my living room. We were kind of in the medical district across the street from Egg Beater Jesus, and started there. And then from there, we kind of outgrew the living room, and we started renting space like the gymnasium at Huntsville Junior High School. And then from there, we rented like a storefront at a little property, like kind of near Red Lobster on University Drive.
Yeah.
And then, as a church, we do these things called baptisms, and we were baptizing somebody outside because we were renting the space and we didn't want to get water everywhere. So we did the baptisms outside. And somebody drove by and saw us baptizing, and her husband called me a few days later. And make a really long, really cool story short, they gave us our current building for free. So this congregation used to be called 5 Points Baptist Church.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
they were down to about eight folks, on a typical weekend, and that's just a few people to maintain a space. And so they gave us the property for free, and we were able to raise a little bit of money to do the renovations on basically every square inch got renovated outside and inside.
Yeah,
And
it looks amazing.
We're thankful, man. We're just this building has been really, really a gift for us. That a church doesn't need a building. We can congregate anywhere. We can congregate in the living rooms, outside, and most of my ministry, we've actually not had a building. I've helped start churches, and so we've just kind of had to rent random places. But having this building really has been a gift, especially through the COVID era. I couldn't imagine having to pay rent every month and not be able to meet. If you go back to 2020,
Yeah.
So anyways, man, we were very, very thankful. And then another cool thing, Carl, you may not even know about this. We actually just acquired a second church building. So if you think like the intersection of Andrew Jackson Way and Byrne,
Okay.
there's like a little stone church building that's been there for a very long time. So we just bought that a few months ago. And so we're currently renovating that one right now.
So what's going to happen with that? What's the plan?
Yeah. So that space is going to be like, man, we're moving all of our offices over there. Our youth program is like on fire right now. We've got, I think, like, man, just a few years ago, we had like one youth on Wednesday nights, you know? And I think this past Wednesday, I think we had something like 50. So it's just like a lot of growth right now, a lot of fun things. So we're moving all the youth over there. We've got, we do like all kind of different things for folks in recovery and all kind of meetings, ministries. They'll be going to that building, and so that we can use current education space, like at our current building, for more kids space. Kids ministry is really growing.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, so
That's
we'll
really
be
cool.
maintaining those.
So is that right
Well,
on Andrew Jackson? That
yeah,
building?
right on Andrew Jackson.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
Yeah.
both the properties are in eyesight of one another. Both properties are on Burn, but on different sides of Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, that's super
So we got
cool.
shuttles that go back and forth on Sunday mornings.
That's
for
prime
people
real
who-
estate.
Yeah, we're thankful for it, man.
So did that one kid that was going at that time, were they homeschooled and knew karate? Anytime you got one kid in a church with a bunch of adults.
That kid, that one. Now, to be fair, we averaged one kid, so I think there was like 2 or 3 who were actually involved.
Okay.
Only one of them show up at a time, though.
I got
that kid. No, that kid like moved out of state, and so we lost contact. I need to reach out. I need to reach out because that's tough, man. That kid sacrificed to grow. Like I mean,
he stuck it out. Yeah,
he stuck it out. Yeah, and so now it's like a really vibrant thing. But back then, I mean, that kid was a pioneer.
That's cool. Well, what about what you have going on at Essential beyond that? Because so from the outside looking in, because I'm not a member of Essential, don't go to church there. There just seems to be a lot on the outside of the building. Like there is a lot of outward reach there, which in a lot of cases is unique for a church, because it seems like churches a lot of times are very inward focused. So what are you guys doing? What are you doing in the city, like to impact the city?
Man, absolutely. And everything about the say, like, let me say this, like we want to, we just every day we just come with kind of open hands to God, saying, Lord, what would you like for us to do? And so there are things that we've been involved with in the past we're not involved in. We got fun plans for things in the future that we're going to be rolling out. So things are constantly moving and changing and stuff like that. But like the big things that we've been focused on right now is, man, we want to help people who are experiencing homelessness. So I tell people, like, man, we did not choose homelessness. I think homelessness chose us. So I'm from Huntsville, but prior to living back in Huntsville, we were living in San Francisco. And in San Francisco, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with some of the things they're dealing with homelessness. When I came back to Huntsville, I was like, man, Huntsville doesn't have homelessness, not compared to what we were experiencing in San Francisco.
Sure.
But because of just kind of the downtown location of the church, people started coming, who were living on the streets. And so, man, like really early, like we made a decision that like we weren't going to just like have like a homeless ministry. We were going to invite people who are experiencing homeless to like be the church with us. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like hey, you guys go do your own thing. Like, no, dude, come be part of our small groups, be on our serving teams, all those sort of things. And that like really worked well. Like it's just going to be a win-win. And so we do a number of things. Like, so for example, we partner with a ministry that was kind of birthed in-house called Joyful Blessings. Every Tuesday night they go and just love on people who are experiencing homelessness, serving meals, providing for all the kind of needs that you might would expect if you're living out there, trying to get people off the streets as much as possible. And that's a long, complicated process. But we've been able to see some of that. People who used to be homeless, but now have a home, have an apartment.
That's awesome.
And so we love those sort of things. So in addition to helping people experiencing homelessness, people in recovery, we're certainly not the only church in town doing that, but there's a huge need for it. So there's another ministry that we partner with that's birthed in-house called Grace Abounding. And bro, it's incredible, man. This particular ministry just started a few months ago, and it's not uncommon for them to have 300 people show up, 300 people who are experiencing or who are currently in addiction or recovery.
Sure.
And so, man, just a huge need for that. And that's part of our heart, man. We want to be helpful. We want to like, not only do we want to teach the truth, which we are like really serious about, but man, we want to be the hands and feet of Jesus, helping people who need some help. Wow. So those are the big things, man. I mean, I could probably just keep on going.
Yeah.
There's all kind of things in our city and throughout, but homelessness and people in recovery, man, those are the big ones.
Well, those are two awesome things, man. A lot of times we look at the homeless and people in recovery, but the homeless especially, like they're making choices that have led them there, which in a lot of cases may be true, but in some cases it's not. I've met people personally that I've got a friend that he lost his job after working 30 years mowing grass. Had a decent living doing that, lost his job because he had a medical emergency, and he just didn't have a retirement, didn't have anything set up, and lost his home. His family left him, and now he is homeless. And I met him at First Stop, which is not far from you guys. And
That's right.
He didn't choose there, you know?
Well, let me piggyback on that for a second, Carl, because I mean, if anybody's listening to this and you've ever had a judgmental thought, somebody living on the streets, like, man, me too. But like, let's talk about the guy like we're all thinking, the guy who really has made some bad decisions. Yeah. Man, I learned a valuable lesson probably going about 5 years ago now. There was, and I'll kind of like change the names and stuff here, but there was a young man whose parents were crazy rich. They are crazy rich. And when this young man got addicted to alcohol, his parents helped him. And they went to, if I'm not mistaken, the most expensive rehab in America, like the best rehab in America. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to go to this rehab. And if I got my facts straight, like the day he got out of rehab, he fell back into his old ways. Now, this is a guy born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Yeah.
Think about the average guy living on the street, addicted to alcohol or something else. How's that guy going to overcome alcoholism?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if this young man with unlimited money couldn't overcome it, how's the guy living on the street going to do it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not saying they didn't make stupid decisions. I've made stupid decisions, and by God's grace, I'm not living in a camp right now. But who knows what the future could hold? So it's like, dude, we need to humble ourselves a little bit and just say, like, okay, even if that dude did make some bad decisions, dude, he's stuck. And if there's anything we can do to help him, Jesus said, listen, man, whenever you do something for the least of these, you're doing it for me.
Absolutely.
So, anything we can do for people who are just in a bad situation, I think is worth our time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. So if folks want to find information about Essential Church or what you guys have going on, or those different programs you're talking about that you guys are running, where do they go?
Yeah, well, the easiest place is going to be our website, essential.fyi. Essential.fyi. You'll see all the info on there. This may be old school. This may even be showing my age at this point. I'm super active on Facebook, so anybody can find me, Tim S. Milner. And man, I do like a lot of live things each week and various things like that. So anybody wants to connect, or if I can be helpful to you, man, reach out to us either on the website or on my Facebook page.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Well, Tim, thank you so much for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it, dude. I feel like we're just old friends, man. Every time I talk to you.
Yeah. Bro, it's a joy, man. It's a joy to spend a little time with a Huntsville legend like yourself.
Hey. There you go. Just butter it up. All right. So folks, thank y'all for joining us today and for meeting with Tim Milner here. If you want to check out his services, they are in 5 Points, Byrne Avenue, close to Andrew Jackson, right in the middle of everything going on in 5 Points. Go by and give it a chance. Even if you are like me and you've just got some bad taste in your mouth over church, give it a shot. I'm telling you, it may change your life. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks. Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to the Big Huntsville Podcast. If you've enjoyed the stories, the laughs, and maybe learned a little something new about our amazing city, remember, Huntsville isn't just a place, it's a community. And we've got some of the best folks around. So if you like today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe and share it with a friend. And if you got a local hero or story you think we should highlight, hit me up. I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, I'm Carl Thomas, keeping it fun, keeping it real, and always keeping it big here in Huntsville. Catch you later.